It's Cooking for Mom, Mother's Day dinner, today on Let's Cook. Hi, welcome to Mother's Day on Let's Cook. You know, a little bit of history on Mother's Day. The earliest celebrations of Mother's Day are traced all the way back to ancient Greece in honor of Rhea, mother of the gods. And then in the 1600s in England, on the fourth day of Lent, that became Mothering Day. That's when they used to give the servants a day off. They could go home and they visit their mothers and bring them a mothering cake. Now, today we're not doing a mothering cake, but we are doing a chocolate banana creme brulee. And then in 1907, Anna Jarvis of Philadelphia began a campaign for National Mother's Day. And it wasn't until 1914 that Woodrow Wilson, thank you, Woodrow, declared the second Sunday in May Mother's Day. So today on Let's Cook, we're making Mother's Day dinner. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a salmon quiche. Now, to make the salmon quiche, I have some nice salmon here, but I'm actually going to make the filling first. Now, to make the filling, I'm going to take some heavy cream. Then we're going to put some eggs in it as well. The whole egg. You could use a yolk as well, or if you wanted to use an egg substitute, you could do that too, but we'll get our eggs in there. Now, I also have some fine herbs here. So I have some nice parsley here. Not fine herbs, this is just parsley, but I'm also using some dill. Then, to add some more flavor to this, I have some mascarpone cheese. So I'm going to put some mascarpone cheese in there, just going to make it really rich. And then I have some Boursin cheese that I'm also going to make. Now, this just kind of breaks up in your hands. It's going to stick to your hands, but it's going to make it very, very rich. Clean off my hands here. We just mix this all together. Make sure those eggs are well broken. And it should almost be the consistency of buttermilk. Okay, that's good. Now, the only thing I need to do with this is a little bit of salt and pepper, just to bring those flavors out. So this is my filling. I don't put the salmon in here, and I also have some Swiss cheese I have not put in here. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'll get my salmon ready to go. I have some beautiful smoked salmon here. Now, you might find it might be difficult for you to cut the smoked salmon, so the easiest way that I find to do it is, one, it should be nice and cold. Take the salmon like this, roll it up this way. Just make a nice roll this way. Then, with your knife, go through this way, and then just cut it in nice thin slices. This will break it up. We need to maintain, the best word I can say is the integrity of the salmon in this, so we'll just take our salmon here. And now in the quiche, we don't want the salmon sticking together. So we'll take this like this with my cheese, just my grated Swiss cheese. And all we're going to do with this is toss this together. The cheese is going to help to separate the salmon and make sure that it stays nice and separate. Now, great thing about the crust on this, and I have one in the refrigerator here, is the crust, I'm just using a puff dough. So all I did is I have this beautiful pan here where the bottom removes, and the puff dough I've taken and I just basically opened up, one of those frozen wrappers of puff dough. Remove that. Now with this, we'll take our knife and we're just going to cut off the edges here. Making sure you press in. I'm not using a rolling pin. I find with the square pan here, it's just easier to pull my knife across this way to remove the dough. Then we take our salmon mixture right here. Put this right in. All goes right in there. Just spread that out. You see how nice and separate the salmon stayed? Then we'll take our custard mixture right here. We just pour this right in to the dish, making sure that cheese gets distributed well. A little bit more here. Perfect. Okay. Now, the other thing that we need to do when we're doing this is you need to move this around a little bit. Just even, oftentimes I go in with my hand and I'll just go like this and make sure that the custard has wet the salmon and that the salmon is nicely distributed. Making sure that Boursin cheese is also well distributed. I already have one of these done. You're going to bake this in a 350-degree oven. Let me just Open the oven door here. And you don't, when you put it in the oven, you do it like I have it here, where you have a pan underneath in case it boils over, and then you have the shell right here on top of it. Let me get this one out here, show you what this looks like right here. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, to serve this, what's nice about this is this pops right out here. So you have your base right here. You see how nice that's coming out? Make sure our sides don't sticking there a little bit. There we are. I'm going to put that on the plate right there. Now, the other thing I need to do is I need a little bit of sauce for this. The sauce I'm going to make is so simple. And I'm using great ingredients. I'm going to use some tomatoes. So I'll put just some canned diced tomatoes right there. Some capers. A little salty here. Some Clamato olives there. And then all I do with this is we get my top to release itself here. We put this on, and we drizzle olive oil into this. And we have less noise now, and a wonderful caper, olive, tomato sauce to go with our salmon quiche. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, seared scallops with a wonderful paprika and mustard sauce. Don't go anywhere. It's Mother's Day today, and Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Let's Cook, and look at that delicious salmon quiche with the tomato caper olive sauce. Great dish for Mother's Day. Now, seared scallops. The reason I came up with seared scallops is, personally for Mother's Day, I like to do something for my mother that's easy for me, that I've done before, so that I can really visit. This is a very simple dish. And not only do I like scallops, but so does my mother. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take my scallops and sear them. Before I sear them, I'm going to take my scallops, I'm going to season them with salt and black pepper. Then I'm going to dip them in Wondra flour. Now, the Wondra flour, it's a granular flour. A lot of you might use it for a thickening agent because you can sprinkle it right into the simmering liquid, and it does not, it won't form lumps. But it's also great when you're searing something. So I dip them in the flour here. I'm going to season them with a little bit more salt and black pepper. Then I toss them, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scallops and remove them from the flour, shaking off all that excess flour. Now, to make these, I already have my pan. You can see my pan here. My pan is already starting to smoke as well. And that's very important because we just want to really make a nice crust on our scallops here. So, but the important thing is, so that the sauce doesn't burn in the pan here, it's very important that we shake off that excess flour. We'll put our scallops in here now, and we'll let them start to sear off. We need to place our scallops in a pan so that they are roughly at least a ½ inch apart. That way that they'll maintain the heat, or the pan will maintain its heat. It won't cool down, and they'll properly brown. So we're going to let those start to brown off. Now, while those are browning off, I do need to mince an onion here. Now, mincing the onion, I'll show you a nice, easy way to mince the onion. Take our onion here. The one thing you need to realize, if you need to mince an onion, you don't want it to fall apart. This end right here, where the root of the onion would be attached, I leave that on. I don't take that all the way off. Then take my onion. We'll cut our onion in half. Once the onion's in half, oh, and by the way, if you're concerned, some people, I see it all the time where people, they start to cut an onion and they start to cry. And are there any tricks to it? The best trick to that is to have a fresh onion. Because once it starts to break down, it releases those, I guess for lack of a better word, sulfurous fumes, because it contains a lot of sulfur, brings tears to your eyes. Some people put a match in their mouth and leave it out. That attracts the sulfur. Some people will take and put the onion in ice water before they cut it. Use a sharp knife. We go once, twice, 3 times across the knife, across the onion that way. Then we take our onion, bring it across this way. Then we just finely cut this. So when I do this, I'm just barely cutting it. I'm cutting the onion as thin as I can. Once I have it to here, and I'm going to mince it, I'm going to take my knife. Now watch the action that I use here. Because instead of holding this tip down and cutting this way, what I do is I hold my hand about 1/8 of an inch above it. And this way, when I'm going back and forth, I get a rocking motion so that as I'm doing this, I'm cutting the onion in both motions. This way, I only get it one way. But if I go like this, when I pick it up and I bring it down, then I'm getting a cutting action. So I have my onion minced. Also, the larger pieces when you're mincing onions will always go to the outside. Just regroup them and bring them back in. So we have our onion done. Let's take a look at our scallops here now. They're searing nicely. Let's turn this one. Oh, look. See that great color there? Now, the other thing with the scallops is you need to make sure that you don't overcook them. You want them, whoops, put that one back in there. You want them to be opaque in the middle when they're done. So you really just kind of take your time. There's a hot spot there. Bring this back over here. Oops. A little bit more there. Good. Okay, now as soon as I turn these scallops over, I'm going to remove them and finish cooking them in the oven. Let's see if that one's brown. Not brown enough yet, but I'm going to start to remove the ones that are already browned here. Turn my pan up a little bit, get those other ones seared off. And we're going to pop these in the oven. They'll only take about 2 minutes in the oven once, because you have to allow for carryover cooking. So, okay, good, nice and brown. We'll remove our scallops here now. I need to make my sauce. Let me get these in the oven. To make my sauce, pan is nice and brown here. We'll get our onions in the pan right here. Going to start to cook these onions off a little bit. While they're cooking off now, I'm going to add a little bit of paprika to this. Bring out the flavor of the paprika. We're also going to add some mustard to this. A little bit of mustard here. Then I deglaze this with a little bit of white wine. See that great color there? Beautiful. We're going to allow this white wine, paprika, mustard to cook down until it's almost dry. Then we're going to finish it with our heavy cream here. That's going to take about 3 minutes. The scallops are going to take about 5 minutes in the oven. I think we'll take a little break. When we come back, I'll show you how you finish the scallops. Plus, we have a fabulous dessert for Mom. Banana chocolate creme brulee with a special guest. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where we are definitely doing a great dinner for Mom. But, oh, who's that? I have Ashlyn here. Ashlyn, are you going to help me make some dessert today?
Yeah.
What kind of dessert are we making?
I forget.
You forget? What do you have to make the dessert? I need you to do me a favor, though, right?
Crack eggs.
What?
Crack eggs.
You're going to crack eggs? Okay, you crack the eggs in there. And while you're cracking the eggs in a bowl there, I have to finish the scallop dish for Mom, okay? All right, so I'm going to start to finish that. Ashlyn is Dana's daughter. Dana's been working on my show with me for 5 years now. She couldn't do the show without her. And so we were fortunate enough to get Ashlyn to come on and cook with her mom. You ready to crack the eggs? Crack the eggs. You ready? No, you're not going to lick the egg. You have to crack it. So while Ashlyn's cracking her eggs, I'm reducing my heavy cream down with my paprika sauce. Good. Oh, you need something to put those in? Here, put it right in there. There you go. Good. I'll get the scallops out of the oven. Huh?
Yeah, a spoon.
A spoon? Did you get a shell in there?
Yeah.
Okay. How many shells did you get in?
One.
1, 2?
One.
1? There you go. There's a spoon. You get those out. And while you're getting those out, I'm going to put the scallops on the plate. Do these look good?
There you go.
No, you hang on to it in case you break another one. I need 2 more eggs, Ashlyn. You love to crack eggs, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I do too, especially for a creme brulee. So let's go back to the scallops here. We're just going to take our seared scallops right here. We're going to set these up onto the plate here, and then we're going to finish them with the sauce. Now, I'm going to take one of these scallops and cut into it just to show you exactly how you're done. Okay, I need you to start to beat the eggs now. Do you want to? I have 2 whips, Ashlyn. I have this whip, or you have your own whip. Which one do you want to use?
My own.
Your own? Okay, you start to whip the eggs there. Go. You start to. Oh, do you have any shell?
No.
No. Good. This is a great dessert that you can get your children involved in and making for their mother. It's really simple. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish. You want to take a look at my scallops, Ashlyn? Okay, how do these look with the sauce?
Good.
They look good. Would you eat these?
No.
Would you? Would you make them for your mom?
Yes.
You would? Okay. While you're beating that, I'm going to put a little cream in here, okay? All right. Okay. And I'm also going to put a little bit of chocolate in here too, Ashlyn.
Yeah.
A little bit of chocolate for our chocolate creme brulee. Need to mix that in there real good. Now, while Ashlyn's mixing the chocolate in with the eggs and the cream, I have some cocoa powder here, and I have some sugar. I'm going to mix them together now. That way, when I add the custard mixture to this, the cocoa powder will dissolve and it will not form lumps. You could also sip this together too, but just by beating this with a whip, we'll break up all that cocoa and add it right to this. How's that going? Is that going good?
Yes.
Okay. I have another job for you now.
What?
I need you to take the butter
Mhm.
and rub it into that dish, just with your hands. You're going to get a little buttery. That's it. See how this one looks? Just rub it right in there. Okay, while Ashlyn's doing that, I'll take my custard mix right here and set it up in here. And I'm just going to mix this together, making sure everything gets well mixed and well dissolved. Do you want to taste this? Are you ready to taste the chocolate mix? Ashlyn, you want to taste the chocolate mix? You know what? That's very smart. You know why?
Why?
Because there's raw egg in there. And we don't want to eat anything with raw egg, right? We always want to make sure the egg is cooked.
Mhm.
Okay. How's the butter thing?
Good.
You have... She has very warm hands here. We can see that the butter's really melting nicely in there. Now, Ashlyn, I'm going to have to handle this, okay? Will you make this for your mom for Mother's Day? Take your hands out of the dish there, because now in the dish here, we have some browned bananas. How do these look?
Icky.
They look icky, but they're really good. Do you have butter hands? Ashlyn, you have butter hands? Would you like a towel to wipe your hands off?
Yes.
Okay. There's one right beside you there. I have another job for you, Ashlyn.
What?
I'm going to ask you to put some custard in here now.
What's custard?
This is a custard right here. Remember the chocolate mix we made?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to go ahead and put some in there. I'm going to give you a ladle. And I'm going to show everybody out there. Sometimes it's difficult to work a ladle this way. So if you have a small ladle like this, and we take and we bend it a little bit, just like this. See? You go like this, and you put it in. You want to try and do that?
Yeah.
While Ashlyn fills our chocolate banana creme brulees, I already have some that have cooked in the oven, in a bain-marie, in a water bath. We're going to take a little short break, and when we come back, I'm going to show you how you finish this wonderful banana chocolate creme brulee for your mom. Thank you, Ashlyn. All the way full. You like it? Is that good? We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook. For Mother's Day, we have Ashlyn here and we have Dana. Dana works on my show. And Ashlyn, what did we make your mom for Mother's Day? Banana,
Banana.
chocolate,
Chocolate.
creme,
Creme.
brulee.
Brulee.
Dana, what do you think?
Looks great.
Looks great. Okay, we need to finish the creme brulee here. So, Ashlyn, can you sprinkle some sugar on the top of the chocolate one for me using maybe the spoon or your hand, whichever one works? See, that's a great thing. Children love to get their hands in food, right? It's like sand, isn't it?
Yeah.
How's it? Does that feel good?
Making a mess.
Feels nice.
Yeah.
Okay. While she's doing that, can I borrow your spoon here, Ashlyn? Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to take, and I have on the chocolate creme brulee here, I have a little bit of sugar. We're just going to caramelize this. Okay. So this, see? Now this is something that I would have to do that you don't want anybody else to do, right? Dana, you would do this for her too,
Yes.
right? Now, Dana, for Mother's Day, do you make a nice dinner for your mom as well?
Well, we kind of all pitch in
You
and
kind
make
of all
dinner
pitch in.
together. My
and make-
grandmother also.
Now, what type dishes do you make? Do you make your favorite dish or your mom's favorite dish?
Usually my mom's,
Usually mom's favorite.
which is everyone's favorite.
Which is everybody's favorite dish? Okay, I have this one done. Whoa.
Ashley.
Whoa, we got a pile of sugar here. We're going to take some of the brown sugar off here. And Ashlyn, I'm going to ask you to give your mom a taste of this.
Okay.
Okay? Have a
That's
spoon.
so
There's a
good.
spoon right here for you.
You two are really busy.
They're very busy. Now, it's not every day that you get to celebrate Mother's Day. As a matter of fact, it's only once a year. It's every second Sunday in the month of May. Thank you, Teddy Roosevelt. Or was it Woodrow Wilson? No, it was Woodrow Wilson. Thank you for watching Let's Cook. And remember, for Mother's Day, just keep it simple. And it's really going to count, especially for your mother. How is it, Dana? Really good? Bye-bye now. Have a good Mother's Day.